Chairs No Waiting, episode number 156, Mayberry Days 2011. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by Weaver's Department Store. Drop by over at weaversdepartmentstore.com, pick up some of your favorite Mayberry things, or even somebody else's favorite Mayberry things, and give it to them. You're going to find them there at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by listeners just like you. I appreciate your donations. Thanks a lot for all the support. And Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you by the Mayberry Band. Thank you for that wonderful rendition. We appreciate it. Hey, folks, I am Allan Newsome, your host for Two Chairs No Waiting. It's great to have you with me. And today we're going to talk about Mayberry Days 2011. Well, what's Mayberry Days? Some of you may be asking, and hopefully not too many of you. If you're big fans of the Andy Griffith Show, hopefully you already know about it. But if you haven't ever been, you would love to go to Mayberry Days, I do believe. If you're a fan of the Andy Griffith Show, or if you even just enjoy it a lot, you're going to love making a trip to Mount Airy, North Carolina, the last full weekend of September. And I tell you, that is a great weekend. Things get started on Thursdays. They roll through even till Sunday. Now they have a chapel service. It is a great event, a lot of fun to go to. And I've been going since, 1993 is the first year my wife and I went. And we have been back every year since then. And honestly, for me, it gets better every year. Now, it's not just that it gets better because the shows or anything like that. It's not so much that. Those are all great. I enjoy the shows. I enjoy going to things. And people, I think, have a good time at those. But it's the people you get to meet at Mayberry Days. There's the salt of the earth, I'll tell you. They are some of the best people you're ever going to meet. And you get to get with them every September and have almost a family reunion type atmosphere where you're just visiting together and having a good time. And wow, it's hard to beat. It is really hard to say enough about it. So Mayberry Days this year, it was just a couple of weeks ago. I think I mentioned it in the last podcast. We were going to talk about it, and we've got several voicemails from folks going to talk to us a little bit about things that happen at Mayberry Days. And if you want to find out about Mayberry Days, you can go to mayberrydays.org. They have a great website with all kinds of things there that you can go and check out. They update it every year. There's pictures from the event. There's tickets. Even I believe the tickets for next year are already available. There's photo galleries. It shows you all the people that were there this year, people that are going to be there next year. It's definitely something I recommend. So drop by over at mayberrydays.org, and we'll have a link in our show notes, so you don't have to remember that, but it's mayberrydays.org. You can drop by, and you'll be able to find out about it. So first, let's get into, let's hear from Kathy Hinckley. Kathy Hinckley, she called in, actually, and had this to say about Mayberry Days.
Yeah, Allan, this is Kathy Hinckley. Just want to let you know that we really had a good time at Mayberry Days this year. Highlight of the Mayberry Days for me, other than you guys acting up and Colonel Timms was going to the Mayberry Idol contest. And then again, I did Colonel Timms is listen to Colin sing. I got 2 standing ovations. And that was my highlight of the Mayberry Days weekends. And then I also got to meet a couple that are on the podcast. I'm not sure if they're going to be on tonight, but I think it was Farmer Sam and Peggy. So say hey to them, and hopefully we'll get back from our bell choir practice in time to join the podcast tonight. But just want to let you know we had a good time, and you and Dave do a great job of getting it running. Talk to you later, and maybe see you in the podcast.
That was great. Now, that was Kathy. She called in. Now, she did call right back right after that, so let's go ahead and hear that because it's still related.
Yeah, it's Kathy Hinckley again. I just wanted to say also that I'm glad you guys, or that there is that chapel service. That is, people that go to Mayberry Days can't stay for the chapel service. They're really missing out on something. Jan and Leroy do a wonderful job, and listening to Michael Hoover sing and David Reed, and just the story Jan gives and Leroy's teaching it was just something else. It was a good way to end Mayberry Days. So I just wanted to make sure I got that in too. So thanks again for all you do. Kathy Hinckley, bye.
All right, so you're hearing some of the events and stuff that happen at Mayberry Days. There's the chapel service, which is after, well, it's not after Mayberry Days. It's the last day of Mayberry Days, Sunday, where you can, you get to go there to the chapel and see the different things. There is, as I said, at mayberrydays.org, there's a list of all the events you'll find there, and they range from the Mayberry Days golf tournament, the dinner that's following it. There's a Doug Dillard concert, which is Doug was the banjo playing darling boy. She also talked about Colonel Tim's Talent Time. Well, that's a show that comes, they have two of them on Saturday. One's a matinee and then one's the evening. And there's other things, Professor Brower's lecture, the Michael Hoover is the Elvis impersonator or tribute artist. He sings, and he's part of Colonel Tim's as well. There's just all kinds of wonderful events there, and as you heard Kathy, she enjoyed it and had just a great time there, and I know you would too. So let's go ahead and hear from a couple of other people that also went. So let's hear from Jeff Kuntz. He's our next up. So let's hear from Jeff.
Hey, Allan. This is Jeff calling from Nashville, and I just wanted to thank you for all that you did to make Mayberry Days another successful event, and let the podcast listeners know that you really went above and beyond the call of duty this year, truly at the last second, to run the sound and DVD and slideshow at the Earl Theater for Professor Brower's lecture with Bruce Bilson this year. That Ken normally runs the theater, and his aunt had passed away on Thursday, and he was able to attend the funeral Saturday afternoon, and the Arts Council needed somebody, and you stepped in at the last minute there, and really appreciate you doing that. And hey, you finally got to see the lecture in person, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I also want to give a quick shout to Jan for all her help with Who's Been Messing Up the Bulletin Board silent auction this year. You guys donated some great two-chairs stuff, and Jan made some great items to donate as well. And we had another successful auction. Great items, great help, generous bidders, and another successful Internet chapter community service project. So really appreciate all that, and just wanted to let everybody know that you do a lot more than just Floyd, and we all appreciate that. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Hey, I appreciate you calling in. And this year, there's, as I mentioned, there's a matinee of Colonel Tim's. Well, normally Floyd, me, has to be at the matinee for Colonel Tim's, and I missed the Professor Brower's lecture. Well, this year we had Bruce Bilson, Bilson, Bruce Bilson, and he was a assistant director for the first two seasons. He was the assistant director for the first two seasons of the Andy Griffith Show, and that's who Neil was interviewing as part of the lecture. Well, as they said, hey, you guys, you never know why, the Lord gets you to do things. So here I am. I've been doing Floyd since 1994. But this podcast and things like this, running sound at church and all this, they had an emergency, had things go on at Mayberry Days. And luckily I had the experience. I was able to step in and run the soundboard, the video for the film clips that we were showing during the Professor Brower's class, plus the computer system that displayed photographs and stuff that Mr. Bilson had brought with him to display as well. So luckily I was able to help step in there, because some of the people that were there at the theater were panicking that they were going to have to run the video system and sound system and everything. So luckily, Floyd here was able to step in and do some things, and I appreciate Jeff bringing that up. It was definitely an experience, and I did get to see Professor Brower's class, so I never get to see that, so that was great. We got one more call in about Mayberry Days. This is from Kelly, so let's hear what Kelly's got to say.
Hey, Allan. This is Kelly Muchler calling from Alexandria, Virginia. I'm just getting back from my very first Mayberry Days from this past weekend, and I wanted to let you know what a great experience I had. I've been a fan of your podcast for over a year now. I take them with me on all my travels. But I finally got into the area where I could get down to Mayberry Days, and it was a fantastic experience. I got to meet you and see you in action as Floyd. It was wonderful. I got to meet Betty Lynn, which was a fantastic experience I will never forget. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to expect when I got to Mayberry Days, but it was wonderful. I would recommend it for anybody. I got transferred out to the D.C. area for my job as a small-town Iowa farm boy, and it was just the shot in the arm I needed to get back to a little small-town life, to recharge my batteries. It was perfect. To all your listeners out there, I would definitely recommend, if they ever get the chance to go to Mayberry Days, to definitely do it. I look forward to getting back again next year and definitely in the future. So thanks again, Allan, for all the great work you do, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Wow, Kelly, thanks for calling in. That's a great report. And I've got to tell you, folks, it is an amazing, amazing time to be at Mayberry Days. And just to see all the fans and stuff lining the streets. They're everywhere down through there. And during the parade on Saturday morning, there's just people lining the streets. This year, one of the floats in the parade was actually Sarah, the Mayberry Phone Company. They had a lady dressed up sitting there like she was running the phone system in Mayberry, and that was great. And Betty Lynn was in the parade. Morgan Brittany this year was a first-time attendee to Mayberry Days, and she seemed to enjoy herself, and she was a very nice lady. I enjoyed getting to meet her. So, again, if you ever have an opportunity, I definitely want to encourage you to head to Mayberry Days and have a visit, because it is an absolutely wonderful time. There are pictures. I've got pictures posted in the show notes. They're all on Facebook, so if you're my friend on Facebook, you've already seen them. But there's pictures from the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of Mayberry Days that my wife Jan took, and we posted them online. There's tons of other pictures that people have been posting of Mayberry Days, so hopefully you've gotten to see those. There's great stuff. And it's just, I can't say enough about it, so I'm not going to say any more. But I definitely encourage you to drop by mayberrydays.org. Make reservations for next year now, because it's hard to get a room during Mayberry Days. So go ahead and get ready, show up, and have a great time. Just relax and visit with your friends. Now, talking about Betty Lynn just a second ago, we had a podcast a while back where I had asked about Betty Lynn, and does anybody have any stories about Betty that they'd like to share with us? Well, I did get one, and this is from Paul Mulick. So let's hear what Paul has to say about his encounter with Betty Lynn.
Hey, Allan, it's Paul Mulick from Joplin, Missouri. I was listening. I got a couple weeks behind on the podcast, but just the other day I listened to the one about Betty Lynn, and you mentioned something about if folks had a story about Betty that they could call in. Well, I just wanted to share one. My wife and I had gone to that event in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was around Memorial Day of 1995, and you were there, I remember, and probably some of the other folks listening were there as well. But anyway, we had our twin boys with us, and anybody that has twins know when they're little they get a lot of attention. And Betty was, she was so sweet and charming all the time. She wanted to know their names and all, and we said their names were Carson and Taylor. And about that time, Gene Carson, who was also at that event, came in the room, and Betty said, "Oh, Gene, come and meet these two wonderful little babies. Their names are Andy Taylor and Gene Carson." It's kind of the funny sense of humor that Betty has. We didn't really name them after Gene Carson. I did name Taylor after Sheriff Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show, though. My wife wouldn't let me name them Andy and Barney. But she did go along with Taylor as one of their last names. Gene Carson also told me that she had a son named Carson, and I said, "Not Carson, Carson," and she said, "No, he had a different last name. I don't remember now what it was." Anyway, I just wanted to share that story. 10-4, over and out. Bye.
Wow, Paul. Hey, thanks for calling. That was great. Yeah, Betty is a great. She is so fun to be around, and she's always been so nice to me. Now at Mayberry Days, we had a really special occurrence, at least for me. We've got I've got a friend here online, and her name's Lisa, and Lisa had sent a picture, a drawing that she had made of Betty and Don Knotts, of Barney and Thelma Lou, and sent it by me to Betty at Mayberry Days. And I gave it to her at the golf outing, the golf tournament on Thursday. And Jan was there to take pictures, and Lisa was able to see these, that Betty had gotten her drawing, her artwork, and gotten it personally, had it right there in her hand. So that was a big thing. I was glad to be able to deliver that for Lisa, and Betty was just enjoyed so much getting that from a fan, and so I was glad to be able to be a part of that. And so Lisa, congratulations. I know she said many times online that it made her day seeing Betty holding the drawing of Betty and Don Knotts that she had done. So, that makes me feel good that she could do that, and it made Betty very happy to see it as well. So we got one final thing, and then we'll start heading our way out of here. Been asking folks to call in and tell us what your top 2 or 3 or 4 episodes are, your favorite episodes. And we got a call in this time from Frank Phillips. So let's hear Frank.
Hey, Allan, this is Frank Phillips calling from the wilds of Indiana out here in the country. And I was just going to tell you that I think my favorite episode, or the one that I really like to see again, is the one where they tell it in flashback that Barney's been telling everybody in town that Andy and Helen are going to get married, and Andy, of course, and Helen get really upset about that because they haven't made those plans yet. And then we find out that it's because Barney had gotten into the tarot cards and the fortune telling. And so he just bound and determined that, that's the way it's going to be. So anyway, love your podcast, and I heard you were looking for people's favorite episodes, and I think that's probably one of mine. Hey, have a great day, and thank you. Bye.
Hey, Frank, well, thanks for calling in. That is great. Now, Frank didn't know the name of the episode, but it was 3 Wishes for Opie. Now, you don't have to know the name of the episode. We will be glad, because you described it completely. I was able to figure out, no problem, which episode you were talking about. So it's the one with Countess Vantelecki. Countess Vantelecki exists, Barney says. So if you haven't seen that in a while, this is a great time of year to be watching it, because it is Halloween time. And just so you'll know, it is Halloween time. So if you head over to the Mayberry, or the iMayberry.com website, and go there, you'll see, because it's only there during the month of October every year. But if you go and it is October, even if it's next year or years later, hopefully it'll still be around. We have the old Rimshaw place. Now, if you drop by there, you'll find this horror music starts to play, and you'll hear the echo of animals in the background, and there's eyes that follow you around on the screen, just like at the old Rimshaw house. Now, what you can do there is you can actually get pumpkin patterns. So if you had never done that, you can take a pumpkin and make a barn o-lantern, or a Floyd o-lantern, or perhaps a Goober o-lantern, or Opie, because we got Floyd, Barney, Goober, and Opie. Any of those designs are available. And so, hey, have a little fun this Halloween time, or, fall. It doesn't have to be Halloween. But you can go by there and get your patterns now, and you can cut them out. Now, what I have done, and if you ever watch the podcast, just over my left shoulder, if you watch it on the video, you'd see there's a pumpkin with Barney's face on it. And that pumpkin is actually one of those that you can buy at the store. Let me cut out that music. That is a not real pumpkin. It's made out of some kind of styrofoamy type stuff. Yeah, we've got it at Hobby Lobby. So you can get them there, and you can make them, because it takes a while to create these pumpkins, believe me. And I used a Dremel and used it to cut out the faces and everything like that. So that's a great way to be able to put together a nice pumpkin thing. So you'll have a lot of fun. So, hey, I think that's it. Wow, we're 20 minutes in, and I'm still talking. So, folks, I want to thank you guys for coming It was, again, a great time here in Mayberry. I hope you had a good time. Hey, I wanted to tell you that you can drop me a note at floyd@imayberry.com. You can call me at 888-684-8415 and let me know what your favorite episodes are. And, should mention that Paul Mulick was the one who called in earlier. He's also the one that designed those pumpkins that you'll find at the Rimshaw place. So definitely drop by over there and see Paul's stuff. Let's see. Oh, you can also contact me at facebook.com/2chairs. Hey, and if you want to, if you go to the Two Chairs No Waiting website, you'll see there's a place there to buy stuff. So you can actually buy some Mayberry things that are Two Chairs related if you'd like to. Hey, but don't feel obligated. Hey, we'll see you guys next week on Two Chairs No Waiting. Bye, folks.